What's going on, man?
Hey, buddy.
How was your trip to Florida?
Wonderful. Too short.
Was it warm?
70s sunshine.
You got a little tan.
A little bit. What time you got out?
I got 12:01. 12:01.
We're all set. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending today's special meeting. This meeting was called, or requested, I should say, on behalf of Councilman Warner, Councilman Rickey. As such, it is within my responsibility and within my purview to schedule a special meeting at their request or any board member's requests when it's two or more. That's what I did. The reason that it is so late in the year is because of timing. So, all right, folks. As I have tried to conduct every one of my meetings for the last 2 years, I will do so with this one. On the back of the list of what we're talking about today, today's agenda, which is to discuss the vacancy of John Hartzell, there's a list that's on there for everyone to read, which is how we will conduct ourselves during the meeting. As I have never, excuse me,
Yeah.
sir, please.
We can print it out. We can print out the rules. They're the rules for every
And
meeting.
you didn't put one of those out?
And one of the rules is not to yell out. There's a public comment period, and everyone who wants to speak, there will be.
Please, folks.
No, it says no
Folks.
public hearing, so you're already violating the rules. So please, we're gonna have a meeting. The board is gonna run the meeting. We can review the rules if we need to, but this is a sole individual item on the agenda. And it was published and put out, and it's due to the resignation of John Hartzell that occurred on December 21st. A special meeting was requested by two of the board members, and under the town law, the supervisor must schedule a meeting within 10 days. In order to have a meeting, you need to have a quorum, which requires 3 board members to be present. And that's the purpose and the reason for the scheduling of this special hearing today. So the clerk is going to print out the rules for the town of Malta. I will read them into the record and ask that everyone follow them today, which generally means to be respectful, to wait your turn to speak, and allow the board to conduct its business. So the ground rules and pledge of conduct for town board meetings are as follows. I'm a good citizen who cherishes our town and the responsibilities of our government. I pledge to be courteous and respectful of others, their opinions and their values. I will not clap or boo when others voice their opinions. Number 3, I will address my comments to the town board, not to individuals. Number 4, I will comment on the problem, not the people or their personalities. Number 5, I will allow others to speak without interruptions or side conversation. Number 6, I recognize that those who have not spoken will be recognized first. Number 7, I commit to obtaining all facts, information, and opinions on issues. Number 8, I will participate with intent to identify areas of agreement, clarify differences, and search for common understanding and solutions. Number 9, I will focus on the strengths and weaknesses of the proposed solutions. And number 10, I will listen, be fair, and consider the persuasive reasoning of others. Those are the ground rules for the Town of Malta board meetings, and on behalf of the board, I request that everyone follow those so we can have an orderly and productive meeting. I'll turn it back over to Supervisor Hammond. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, for the clarification on that. Sometimes it's difficult for folks to adhere to all of the laws, all of the guidelines that are in place, and not just the ones that they chose to adhere to. So with all of that being said, as Steve pointed out, this meeting is to discuss the vacancy created by John Hartzell. For the record, I had no knowledge of when the vacancy was going to occur. A lot of us had heard rumor throughout the last several months that there was going to be a vacancy. I had no idea when that vacancy was going to occur. It occurred late in the year. For that, I had no control over it. With that being said, as our county attorney just pointed out, time has it, so we have it today. This is the only time that we could get in within the 10 days. Councilman Dunn is not here. although for the record, I'd like to state that he is opposed to this meeting. But please enter that in. And despite what folks believe and have already quite voicefully stated, that there's not going to be public comment, sometimes social media can be wrong. I know that might be difficult for some people to accept and acknowledge, but I can tell you forthright. As an example, Jen Holmes is not my deputy supervisor. So that, along with many other things that were posted, because I've seen them, are inaccurate. People, I implore everyone, not just here, those listening, those watching, please get your facts from factual sources, not from somebody next door. Okay? With that being said, we will talk about the vacancy. There have been people that have come forward from all different factions, all different entities, wanting their candidate to be considered for this position. Throughout my 2 years, I have chose to act with honesty and integrity. For that, I am proud of, and for that, I will argue with anybody that I was anything but that. This is no different today. This meeting was held because this is how town government works. There's a vacancy, we will fill it. That's what we're going to do. I don't care if people aren't happy with the timing. This is how it fell. This is what it is. Whether it be pressure from political entities, from folks with their own agenda over the last 2 years, or mob mentality at times, I have not, will not, and I'm not going to waver to pressure from any of the aforementioned. I have not, and I'm certainly not going to do it today or any other time while I'm still supervisor. For that reason, there have been discussions about those names that were put forth to be considered as candidates to fill Councilman Hartzell's position. I have spoken with folks about it, people that I know, people that I trust, and yes, I've even spoken with it about the incoming supervisor, who actually was in agreement with what I had suggested. So for anyone that thinks this is a political maneuvering job, that this is all fixed, well, that was never relayed to me during our conversations between Cynthia Young and myself. It is for that reason that I will put forth the resolution.
Supervisor Hammond,
Yes.
before you do that, our typical process is to have
Oh,
a
yes, I'm sorry.
pledge to the flag.
Yep.
And,
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Steve. And yes, I will open up the floor to public comment for those that will have anything to say. Again, as Steve, our attorney, pointed out, please adhere to our rules that we have in place. Let's be civil, and let's please keep our comments to 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not going to cut anybody short at 2 or 3 minute timeline. I don't have a timer up here. But if there's a number of people that want to say things, please respect that they also would like to speak as well. And with that, I will open up the floor. If any of the board members have anything that they would like to say first and foremost.
Not at this time.
I'm going to hold off at this time, but thank you for everybody that had an interest in filling the spot. Something has to be done. It is lawful, and we're handling it that way. So roll with the comments, I guess.
Thank you, Craig. Matt, I'm sorry, Nancy.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt McLaughlin. I live at 19 Callahan Boulevard. I asked Supervisor Hammond and the town board to consider me to fill the vacancy currently by John Hartzell's resignation. I'd like to thank the incoming supervisor, Cynthia Young, for the several conversations we had this past week and for your support and endorsement for consideration for the town board member. Thank you. If appointed to the town board, I do look forward to working with you and with you, Barbara Connor, again, and with Al and Craig. Working towards the continued success the town has always had. Having worked closely with Supervisor Hammond and the town board these past 2 years, I have institutional knowledge over the many projects that the town is currently working on. And I believe that if I am appointed to the position of the town board, that I will be able to offer additional continuity between the incoming and outgoing supervisors and the town board to see these pending projects to their fruition. To my fellow citizens of Malta, if I'm appointed as a member of your town board, I will make myself accessible to you. I will take the time out to listen to your needs and any recommendations you may have to make the town better. I fully understand that if I'm appointed by the town board to the town board, it is not the same as being elected by you directly. And I will not take that position for granted. And I look forward to a special election where we'll stand in front of you and seek your endorsement to continue on as a councilman should I be appointed today. Finally, I'd like to thank you, Supervisor Hammond, for all the hard work you've done in these past 2 years. I thank you for the many initiatives that you have started and have supervised over. Being in the background, I have seen that all the decisions that Supervisor Hammond has made these past 2 years has been through the lens of selfless service and integrity and always seeking for the betterment of the town. It's been an honor working for you these past 2 years with the town board and with the town employees of Malta. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. So, board and Matt, that was wonderful.
Could you please state your name and address?
Nancy Denio, 54 Wineberry, Luther Forest. So a lot of us have considered the election as being a prominent piece of democracy in our town. And not to say anything less about Matthew, I took a lot of time looking at the results of the election. So the people of Malta spoke on election day. Cynthia Young was elected from a choice of 3,506 voters, 33 abstained. She won the election, 1,852 votes. So welcome, Cynthia, to the board and the supervisor position. Barbara Connor, she was also elected with 3,506 potential voters. 1,414 people abstained from voting, and that's an approximate. She received the same 1,852 votes from our town. In contrast, Craig Warner, our councilperson incumbent elected, he received 1,953 votes from our town. And welcome back to the board. What I'm bringing to this meeting for everybody to listen to and hear, and not to negate what Matthew's put into the board, but Murray Eitzman, he ran a really fair election. He went out door to door, and yes, he did lose the election. But out of the 3,506 people that voted, 1,749 of our town actually showed up and put his name into the potential pool of people to sit on this board. That's only 103 less votes than Barbara Connor. And with that, I would like to suggest, in my own way of looking at things, and this is not my decision, of course, that Mr. Eisman, who ran for the seat, actually put in a fair chance to be sitting on that board right now, Monday morning or Tuesday morning or whenever everybody gets sworn in, and the people spoke to that choice. Not that Matthew's any less of a choice, but Mr. Eisman put in some effort. And if there were to be somebody put into the position, maybe Mr. Eisman should be considered. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Anyone else wish to speak? See a hand in the back there. Yes, sir.
All right. My name is Steve Young. I'm really bad at public speaking, so you have to pardon me.
We won't judge you for that.
One of the questions I have is I think town law says that the notification has to be written and provided to all town members of a special meeting. What form of message was given to Tim Dunn, who is not here, and how was it provided, and did he receive it?
Steve, would you like to answer that?
Well, I can answer it in two ways. Mr. Dunn was notified of the special meeting directly, as well as the town clerk has posted it on the website, and the town bulletin board is required. So with respect to Mr. Dunn, he'll have to answer you further to confirm that he's received notice, but he has received written notice of the meeting, as has the public.
I guess the other question I have is just to the board, is why have it now? I mean, I know you guys requested it, but why not actually have, a public hearing about all the candidates, give them a chance to talk in person, those who are not here? Apparently there's one person, someone suggested the other person who ran for town council and was not elected. I mean, why not give them an opportunity to speak in front of the full board from next year? I mean, I'm not sure why there was a rush. I mean, if you can explain that, why it was urgently needed to have someone in sooner than later, that would probably help alleviate the suspicion. Also, although you said that public comments are allowed, I will point out that the actual town website says that this is not a public hearing.
It's not a public hearing.
Right, but we don't, as members of the community, we don't exactly know what that means. It seems to imply, when you say it's not a public hearing, that there will not be comments allowed.
Typically, we'll put that on a lot of our postings for meetings. Again, I've said this before, I've been vilified for it, but people have to take a little responsibility when it comes to knowing what's going on in your town government. If you attend 1 or 2 meetings a year, that probably won't cut it. I know I got up and I went to meetings for several years in a row without an agenda because I wanted to know what was going on in the town. And you learn a lot by going to the meetings, and not necessarily Zoom meetings or watching them on YouTube, but actually participating in the meetings. And I'm not saying that in a manner to be disrespectful, but what I'm saying is there are things that people can find out today very easily if they really choose to find out the answers. Attending the meeting, like today, you showed up today. Thank you for attending. You found out when you got here, there is a difference between a public hearing and public comment. I don't know more what can be said to that other than I stand by what I say.
Supervisor Hammond, if I could add, the reason for that in the notice is that a public hearing is a legally distinct hearing versus a regular board meeting. The public has greater rights of participation in a public hearing, and there are different requirements for publication and notice of a public hearing. So there's a real valid reason to indicate that it's not a public hearing, it's a typical board meeting. And that's the purpose of the language in there.
All right. I think that's about all I have to add.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
So I am Cynthia Young, the incoming supervisor. I do want to clarify a few things. First of all, I would prefer that this board defers the decision until after the new board takes office. I don't know, I just would prefer, I think that the 11th hour here, decision-making is a little bit too tight. I did speak with both Matt and Mark over the past couple of days. And I will say that Matt is on my short list of names because of the experience and he seems like an honest, decent man, but there were other people. And I think the process should be that we as a board get together and take the pool of names together and talk to everybody that's interested in the process. But again, if this board makes the decision today to appoint Matt, I will welcome you and be the first to congratulate you and look forward to working with you. But if you decide not to, then, we'll have another process starting sometime next week. It is important that we have a full board. We have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things, like Matt said, that were started in the previous administration that we need to go through now. So, thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. And I would just like to clarify that, yes, I agree with most of what you said. However, I think what should be added for the record is that we've had discussions prior to just a few days ago about this. Names were discussed. I repeatedly asked you, as the incoming supervisor, who you would prefer, who you think you could work with. I was never given a list of your top contenders or even who you would choose to have. To date, I still have not received that, whether it be verbal or in writing. So the opportunity was, in fact, handed to you to say, I would like this one, that one, or someone else. So I just want to clarify that was put out to you.
Okay, I don't want to do a back and forth.
No, I don't either, and I won't.
When was this meeting scheduled? I mean, when John stepped down, I kind of assumed it was going to be up to the next board to make that decision, in which case, we'd wait and see about candidates. So it's only been a couple of days since this meeting has been scheduled. And, had you reached out, I probably would have given the other names, but we only talked about one candidate between us. So again, like I said, I definitely shortlist. I like Matt a lot. He may have been appointed even with the new board.
Thank you, Cynthia. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. My name is Jens Lobb. I'm an 8-year resident of the town of Catskill. I'm an attorney, retired New York State trooper. Had a number of years of service as a town attorney for the town of Catskill. Practiced privately for a number of years. I'm currently on the town's Board of Assessment Review. I've been appointed by your predecessor and as well as by you, Mr. Hammond. I offer, and I emailed you, I don't know if you received my email, and I left a message on your phone. I'm not as well versed in social media, so I don't deal with that, but I did notice the opening, and I called, left a message on your phone.
I was south for a
Okay.
little while, so
And
that
I sent
could
an
very well
email,
be.
and I don't know if you received that.
I did not receive your email, no.
I tried
I
to
will
reach-
check my spam, but I did not receive it.
I tried to reach out for Ms. Young, just didn't know how to get in touch with her. I would offer to the, both the Democrats and the Republicans, let me say, and I'm a registered Republican, my candidacy for this position as a caretaker, be in the position until the next election, pledge not to run, do the best I could for the town of Malta. That's all I have to say. I certainly respect this young gentleman. I'm pleased that younger generations are here to serve, and I just offer this as an alternative and frankly would not serve unless I had the full support of this board as well as the incoming 2 members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. I see a hand. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Lawrence Liberman, 1 Mayapple Way. I'm very concerned that this meeting is occurring today at the 11th hour to appoint someone when a new board is coming in after a democratic decision to make some changes here. So I just wanted to state that.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? And this woman right here is standing up. I assume she wants to talk?
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me. I got vertigo, so I'm not drunk.
That's like me with my new glasses.
Again, we won't judge you for that.
Thank you. My name is Linda Noble. I live in Luther Forest. I've just noticed all the stuff that's been going on this year, and I know everybody that's been up there has been, of one party instead of another. I've seen in different places I've lived and everything, that everything goes better if it's decided by a bipartisan election or decision or whatever. And I really think that this should be put off until, it wouldn't be a problem if the candidates were all, put out there now, but to put it off until the next board comes in, because there's a possibility with bipartisan that people would be less upset by it. That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Someone over here that wanted to get up and talk.
My name is Susan Nuttall. I live on Mayapple Way. I just have a quick question, and if you did answer this previously, I just must have missed the answer, so I'm just wondering if you could answer it again for me. What exactly was the rush? I believe somebody asked that question,
What's the question?
but I wasn't sure that it was answered, and if it was, if you could repeat it, and if not, like, if we
What
could
was
get
the
an
question? I couldn't hear you.
why it was so rushed to do this all of a sudden today. I understand the 10-day thing. I don't know. I guess I'm just.
This was
I'll
not,
answer that. I'll answer
oh, go ahead.
this whole situation arose by no master plan or anything like that. We kind of knew that, we heard that John was going to be leaving. And, initially, we all heard that John was leaving in February on his birthday. And it was going to be on the next board's, watch to have a caretaker for 6 months until a special election maybe, and get more candidates and stuff like that. But it happened when it did happen. And it's been filled by a Republican seat for 12 years. And I thought we should also fill a Republican seat right now, because it could wait till February if John left then, or we could be sitting at 2-2 votes for a full year, and probably less would get done. I'm confident I'm going to be able to work, and Matt will be able to work with Barbara and Cynthia, that we have our goals of this town forefront, for what has gone by for the last 2 years. We had worked towards common goals for the betterment of the town. We've seen some candidates come up in my emails. Murray's got a very impressive resume. Matt does too, being the deputy supervisor, very logical of knowing all the issues and stuff. And the opportunity arose. So I was in favor of sitting, making sure we had 5 people on the board at the beginning of the year, and not possibly stalemate at 2-2 for a bunch of months, just for whatever reason of vetting people and agreeing and disagreeing and being distracted towards getting things done I'm sure Cynthia's got an agenda that's probably, I'm sure, close to Mark and close to mine, which is what's good for the town, So that's the answer, is that I signed off on holding this meeting, or requesting the meeting, as when I found out that John was officially retiring, and that's what I did.
Okay, so let me just make sure I'm understanding what you said. Well, first of all, I had a
The
question.
opportunity arose and I took it.
Okay. Did
Want my answer
Matt
on that?
McLaughlin, did you retire? Did you, what's the word? Did you withdraw from, were you deputy supervisor or are you still?
I am deputy supervisor until midnight tonight.
Okay, so I misunderstood that. I thought somebody had said that you had withdrawn or something, so I apologize for that.
Did you get that from social media post?
I don't know where I saw it, probably, because that's, that's the only way I seem to be able to get
Usually
any
they're spot
information,
on.
so that's
I'm
why
happy to
confused.
answer that also. After the elections happened here, I was disappointed from the fact that our other candidate who worked tirelessly, going door to door, he and I worked together as a team. And when the results came out, I was rather shocked. And I've had a lot of mind searching that I've had to do. What I am going to do is to do what's best for the town, not what's best for the party. At this point in time, Mark has got a lot going forward. Now, I hope that the transition works out good, but I sincerely say that I have to do what's best for the town in the next 6 months going forward. And that's my decision.
Okay. I
That's
don't agree with
why I
your decision, but
actually
obviously you're the one who gets to make
Asked
it,
for
so.
it. And
Thank
to
you.
be honest, if Cynthia was in our spot, she would have done the same thing. I'm
I
very-
don't know that, well, I don't know that you can
We
speak
won't-
for
we
her,
won't
but
speculate.
I guess she appreciates that.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Yes, ma'am, down on the end here. You can, sure.
My name is Linda Valente, and I'm at 24 Mayapple Way. Based on my work experience in government, state government, where I've worked with Democrat and Republican governors, and knowing that what I think is pretty much a conclusion at this, that there will be an appointment today, could there not be, with a local law passed, that there be a special election earlier than the next general election, because I believe this position, that they're appointed until the calendar year next succeeding the the next election. So that instead that there could be another election, special election, the spring, February, March, perhaps, in which the voters can then decide. And the opportunity be given for any candidate that wishes to run. And the community will know more about them.
Steve, would you like to address that?
And I don't think there's a special law right now, but I'm just putting that forth.
Well, in the town of Malta, there is no local law regarding filling vacancies. Town law, section 64.5 authorizes the town board to act as this board is acting. As far as an incoming board passing local law, yeah, there are, you can pass a local law to supersede town law 64.5. Haven't researched the parameters of what the election cycle would be in that event. But otherwise, you are correct that there is, some towns have passed local laws, the town of Malta has not. So they're operating under New York state law called town law, section 64.5.
Right, I'm aware of that. I'm
And,
aware of that. And I looked into as to holding a meeting on a weekend. So I'm aware of an advisory opinion issued by the Department of State at that many years
So
ago.
you know that this is completely authorized by law and the town board is acting accordingly.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And there
yes,
is
sir, I
no
do.
pending local law for them to act under.
Right,
So-
that's why I'm suggesting that there be a local law considered for that purpose. Because I believe politics is the art of compromise in many ways. That's how I was able to get legislation through as a counsel to a state agency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Linda. I saw another hand in the back.
Michael Funk, 810 Malta Avenue Extension. I think doing this today is, at a minimum, really bad optics, because it feeds into the narrative that politics is a backroom process. There's nothing that's been said so far that I regard as so critical that we couldn't have held off this meeting until the new administration was sworn in. I believe that it would have been better for the town of Malta had we waited, because in this era of very significant political division, wouldn't it have been nice if we had 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats making a decision together and probably electing or appointing Matthew, perhaps not, but probably. And I think we would have gone forward feeling like we were together as a town in this decision. So I'm asking this quorum today to entertain candidates, but delay their vote until next week or sometime when the new administration can schedule a meeting for such a time to make that appointment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Okay. So with that being the end of public comment, I see no other hands, so I'm assuming no one else has anything to say, at least right now anyway. So before we actually get into this resolution, I'd just like to say I listened to everyone, as I have had for the last 2 years, despite what people like to paint, what people like to say, and we'll continue to do so. I can't say and I won't say that I don't care, because I do care. But that's not to say that it's not very troubling for someone of my character. Many of the folks, in fact, all of them, that have chosen to throw darts at me over certain issues have no idea who I am. You're assuming that you do. I can tell you right now, you are way off base. For anyone that believes that I am about to make a decision based on politics is very wrong. I don't care, and I'll say it. I don't care if you don't agree with that. I'm telling you because that's the way that it is. That's who I am. For 2 years, I have fought against political entities, people with their own agendas. Everyone wants to take a bite out of the bait that I hold in my hand. And I pushed back against that for 2 years. As I said earlier, why would I wave to that now? Why would I wave to pressure from people saying, geez, you're doing something nefarious, Mark. You're all about politics. This is so unpolitical to me. And again, I don't care if you believe it, for the naysayers. This is not a political decision. This is about what I've set out to do 2 years ago. Maintain honesty and integrity in keeping the best interests of this town in my decision-making process. And I'm not changing. After tomorrow, I won't have that ability. For many of you, you'll be thankful for that probably. But right now, I do have the ability. And I'm going to continue to do and make a decision based on what I believe is best for this town. We've talked about bipartisanship. People love to throw that term around. The people that usually throw bipartisanship around are the ones that really don't want bipartisanship. They want things their way. They see things not going in their direction. They scream that they want bipartisanship. I gave every attempt an opportunity to the incoming supervisor to have a discussion about this decision. I was never once told, this is who I would like, Mark. I gave up everything. I have nothing to hide. I told Cynthia Young exactly who I thought would be great for this position and the reasons for that, and Cynthia Young agreed with me. Again, verbal, not in writing, but I'm telling you what happened. With all that being said, that bipartisanship that we love to throw out there, it was there on my part. If Cynthia Young had a name that she wanted instead of who I was suggesting, I would have loved to have heard it, and I've asked for it. To date, I have not heard that name. And let's make no mistake, everyone has their own political agenda. For everyone that wants to throw darts at the sitting board and myself saying this is political, I suspect you've probably got your own political narrative as well and your agenda. What we're doing today, and we will do, doesn't fit your agenda. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. This is for the town of Malta, not for this board and not for a party. I'll go out the same way I came in, making decisions based on what I felt was right. And with that, I will introduce the resolution to have Matt McLaughlin fill the position vacated by John Hartzell, and I respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Discussion among the board members?
Yeah, we were submitted 3 people, as far as I know. Matt, I worked with him for 2 years. He's dedicated.
People in the back, if you want to have discussions, please go outside in the other room or in the hallway. Thank you.
He's knowledgeable. He knows what's going on, and I'm sure he will carry that forward. Murray, on the other hand, he and I worked for months going door to door. We conveyed everything that we know. People confronted us with certain questions. I answered them honestly, and I'm sure Murray's the type of guy he would do the same, and he did. He worked tirelessly. He wore his red sneakers out. I wore mine out. I canceled things to go door to door. I've always believed in being conversive with the public. The other candidate, I don't know too much about. I see him in town. I see his wife in town. My decision today, as I said earlier, is what's best for the town. What's going to be the transition between the past and the future? That's my statement.
Thank you, Craig. Could I have a vote, please? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is passed. Thank you very much. This motion is now adjourned.
Wait,
If I can just have one last comment.
Yes, Cynthia,
I
go
want to
ahead.
be the first to congratulate and welcome Matt to the town board. Look forward to working with you. It is going to be nice to have someone who probably knows more about the ongoing projects than I do, so I look forward to your counsel on that. While I would have done things differently, I'm not unhappy with the outcome. It will be nice to start with a full board, and it frankly takes one thing off my plate. So welcome. We're having a swearing in tomorrow here at 1 o'clock. I think there's also one over at the courthouse. But at 1, we'll have a swearing in, and everyone is invited, and there will be cake.
Oh, and Jen, if you would, please, we should probably read the resolution for the record, of course, with Matt's name in the blank spot.
Whereas John Hartzell submitted a written letter of resignation as town board member effective December 21st, 2023 to the town clerk, leaving a vacancy on the town board. Whereas pursuant to New York State Town Law Article 4, Section 64-5, whether a vacancy shall occur or exist in any town office, the town board or a majority of the members thereof may appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancy as set forth in the above referenced New York State Town Law. Resolved that the town board, hereby appoints Matt McLaughlin as town board member of the town of Malta pursuant to Town Law Section 64-5. to fill the vacancy created by the aforementioned resignation for a term to expire on December 31st, 2024.
Thank you, Jen. With no other business today, Steve, unless there's something we've forgotten to do?
No, you've passed the resolution. Unless you want to open it to public comment again, you can get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks. Happy New Year.